You know, Japan, they just won't go down without a fight. Right now, it is the Tokyo Motor Show, and a whole bunch of manufacturers have just shown us an insane amount of products. They hold this every couple of years, whereas China, you know, they have one massive show every year. One of our biggest videos this year was the Shanghai Motor Show. But oh my God, like the cars that have been shown today in Japan are absolutely wild. So today I'm gonna take you through all of the cars that have been unveiled, and I'm gonna tell you all the crazy stuff. We have cars named Midget, which I'm pretty sure, do I have to bleep that out? I don't know. I'll say it again, just in case. Midget. It's the name of the car, I swear. We have Corollas that actually look absolutely insane, like just an absolutely mind-blowing fight that is going on at the moment between Japanese manufacturers and Chinese car manufacturers. So Japan is really taking the fight back to China. And today I'm going to take you through all the cars that have been shown at the Japan Motor Show, and let's just get into it. So first things first, Century. Century, a car I've owned, a Toyota Century, my V12 Century. I miss that so much. Like honestly, it's probably one of the only cars I genuinely regret selling because I really miss it that much. And by the way, stay tuned, I might be getting a similar Toyota soon. But anyway, they're launching a new brand. It is called the Century brand, i.e. Toyota Century is now just Century. It sits above Lexus, and they showed off their first car that's going to be coming. It's called the Century Coupe. Now, of course, this is a concept car, so it looks absolutely wild on the outside. On the inside, it also looks absolutely wild, and I don't think it's final spec. But what it does show is that Toyota are really quite serious about bringing in Century, which is going to be a competitor to brands like Rolls-Royce and Bentley and maybe Jaguar if they ever go through with that. I don't know. So they had a few cars on display. One was Akio Toyoda, who is the CEO of Toyota. They had his GR-MN on display, which is really cool. It's the current generation of Century sedan that just looks gorgeous and is a bit more potent than what you currently get, which we'll come back to in a second. But they of course also sell the SUV. You can buy that in Japan at the moment, but they're not export cars. You could only buy them in Japan, and you can grey import them to countries like Australia, or for certain model years, they did allow for some export, but very limited. But now this is going global. You might actually be able to buy this in Australia, in the US, wherever you are. And that's about all the detail they gave. It was quite funny. I've written a full article about this on CarSauce.com, but in it, the CEO of Toyota was essentially saying that Japan has stagnated for the last 30 years, which, let's be honest, that is kind of true, but maybe they're finally changing things. And by the way, right now, if you go out and you buy yourself a Century and you're in Japan, which you kind of have to be invited to, or you have to be a very select person. It's like buying a Rolex. It's hard. But if you want to go out and buy one, you'll be getting your car with a V8 hybrid. We've reviewed the car before, so I'll leave that link down below, but an absolutely wild car. V8 hybrid, you would think it had more power than it does, but it's really about luxury and opulence. And now you're getting a new brand. Then there is the Corolla concept. Let's talk about that because again, this thing looks absolutely insane. The exterior looks wild. The interior looks wild. It is just a concept, but it's hinting at what the 6th generation of Corolla is actually going to look like. It's going to bring up to 2,100 kilometers of range. And interestingly, it will be offered with an EV, plug-in hybrid, a regular petrol, but also a hybrid petrol like they offer now. And it will be that plug-in hybrid that offers up to 2,100 kilometers of range. And it is reported, and we've made a video on this as well, that Toyota are actually going to source a lot of parts from BYD. Yes, the Chinese manufacturer Build Your Dreams. For example, that 1.5 liter petrol engine sounds awfully similar to something like a Sea Lion 5, but it will be using an even newer version of that technology. 2,100 kilometers of range in a Corolla that looks like that. Hell, sign me up. That looks awesome. All right, Land Cruiser FJ. Obviously, again, another full video. God, we make a lot of videos on Toyotas. I swear I'm not a fanboy. But the Land Cruiser FJ, or the mini Land Cruiser, of course, that had its full unveiling at the show. People can walk around it, and I'm gutted I'm not there this year, but anyway, that's a story for another day. No, I haven't been banned from Japan, by the way. Just want to make that very clear. Been like 6 times in the last year, and I think it's an obsession. But the Land Cruiser FJ is absolutely wild. I'm devastated that they have not confirmed it for Australia, but if it's anything like the Hilux Champ that we recently reported on that has been spotted in Australia, honestly, you never know, it could be coming to Australia. Right now, it's offered with one engine, which I love. It's a 2.7 liter naturally aspirated petrol engine. Why do I love that? Because it's one of Toyota's most reliable engines. There isn't a stupid turbocharger or supercharger. It's simply naturally aspirated. It's pretty slow. It's only got 120 kilowatt of power and 246 newton meters of torque, and it won't be very efficient either because it's a proper four-wheel drive system. It uses the Hilux platform, so yeah, you'll be able to go pretty gnarly off-roading. But the fact that it is a simple, bare bones Land Cruiser, I mean, who the hell doesn't want that? And I'm not talking about 70 series bare bones. You know, this is like kind of luxury bare bones. And it will start somewhere in the high $40,000 range. So again, devastated. Wow, this isn't confirmed for Australia. Leave a comment down there right now saying Toyota, bring it to Australia or whatever country you're from. It's ridiculous that they're gatekeeping this. And then there was the HiAce concept. I thought I'd mention this one just because, you know, the HiAce is a commercial van. They make some passenger versions of it, but it's a commercial van. It's uggo, but this new concept looks really, really good. So I think, you know, instead of buying a Hyundai Staria, you might actually go out and buy yourself a HiAce after seeing this concept, if it comes to life. But I think it looks really, really cool. Then there's Lexus, which I've got to say, Lexus had less than Toyota. Maybe because Century is just taking all of the smoke from underneath the feet of Lexus. But the Lexus came out with probably the best one of theirs, the LS concept. It no longer means LS, no longer means like luxury sedan or luxury SUV, which is actually what it stood for before. Now it means luxury space. So they've made this a 6-wheeled concept with 4 very small wheels at the back of the thing. And apparently that allows for more space on the inside, which I guess makes sense. And by the way, this is a quote, maximizing floor space, unhindered access, and environment to call your own. So yeah, cool, another minivan, I guess. Very, very big in Asia, which is why it's probably important for some like, you know, Philippines or Thailand or Hong Kong, where people buy a lot of these, but in Western markets, they don't typically buy minivans. Anyway, that's fine, let's move on. Then they showed off another 2 concepts. There isn't much to talk about. There's the Lexus LS Coupe concept, which again looks pretty cool, and the Lexus LS Micro concept, which is like a one-person pod. It's kind of that, you know, future mobility stuff. I just don't really buy it at the moment. I think we're a far way off of that stuff, especially considering it's all regulation dependent, and they know this, but hey, you know, I guess it's moving Lexus a bit more forward. I would have loved to have seen the new LFA concept or something, you know, a bit more than this. But don't worry, Mazda has us covered, funnily enough. We'll get back to that soon. Let's talk about Daihatsu. Okay, I'm in love with Daihatsu. So Daihatsu makes some of the funniest cars out there and some of the best little cars out there. They make a lot of K-cars. In fact, they might only be K-car now. But anyway, they make some awesome cars and I've owned a competitor one. Let's talk about it. So the K-Open, this is a new concept. Essentially, it's the next generation of the Copen that's coming out. K-Open, get it? So it's coming with a 5-speed manual transmission, which is good to see. Although when I owned my Honda S660, the competitor to this car, that had 6 speed. So 5-speed is an interesting choice, but it will also have a manual handbrake. Yes, they are touting that as one of the big benefits of the new K-Open. So currently the Copen, if you want to buy one, is a K-car. So it comes with a 0.66 litre engine, only puts out 47 kilowatt of power, and it weighs about 850 kilograms. So yeah, you're not moving these things with much pizzazz or much pace, but it looks absolutely epic. I love the way it looks, and I think we need more cheap, affordable sports cars. Like when I bought my S660, I can't remember what I paid. It was low 30s or something, and yeah, so much fun. Go watch that review as well. I'll leave it linked down below, and if I forget, just search S660 CarSauce. But then they unveiled the Midget. Yes, that's right. There's a car called the Midget. This is the Midget X. You can actually buy a Midget in Australia. You can import them. They last sold in like the late 90s and early 2000s. They're a single-seater K-car, though you could in later models get like a dicky seat if you wanted to have the most cramped experience of your life, but it's got a spare wheel at the front. This one's a bit different. It is fully electric, rear-wheel drive though, which is cool. And the whole concept, I love it because it was meant for like shopkeepers. That's really what it was for. Like, you know, your local fruitery, they would own a Midget in Tokyo. Again, I really hope we don't get demonetized for this, but it looks absolutely awesome. It's got round LED headlights. The windshield looks like a mini helicopter. And of course, it is a center seat, but you can get it as a 2-seater too. So yeah, that's so cool. One of the cars I would love to own, and maybe one I will import through Justin. Shout out Justin at Carlton Classic. He can import any JDM car for you in Australia, so check him out. All right, Honda. Now, Honda are one of those companies, at least in Australia, they haven't been doing very well. They just have not. Once they moved to an agency model where you couldn't actually negotiate on prices anymore, people stopped buying them. However, they're coming out with some pretty cool new models with some caveats as well. So first one is the new Zero Alpha. It was actually a world premiere of this SUV. I know what you're saying. We don't need more SUVs. And I agree, but it kind of looks like the original CR-V. It's got a very coupy sort of look to it. It's actually going to go on sale in 2027, first in Japan and India, interestingly. But I kind of hope we see it in Australia. Do we need more Honda SUVs? Probably not. Probably not. But it does look very, very cool. It is fully electric as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see it. And hopefully it does come to Australia. It probably will. Hang on. Daddy Jacob has messaged me. Apparently the new Daihatsu X is actually a 3-seater. That's rogue. That's rogue. They've been able to fit more space inside of the midget. By the way, if you want to buy the midget 2, there's one for sale at the moment. I don't know who this is. I'm just saying. I looked it up earlier. It's like 12 grand. I don't know, I think that's pretty good. Then there is the world premiere of actually one of my favorite cars at the show, which I wouldn't have expected, but you'll find out why in a second. It's the Super One Compact EV. It's a K-car, and it looks like a lot of the more new Honda K-cars that are out there at the moment. The N-Box is actually one of the best-selling K-cars that you can buy in Japan at the moment, so the whole N-Series is actually doing very, very well in Japan, which is good to see. But this is electric. Why do I care? Because it's a fun little electric car. That's right, it's got a boost mode. It's got a boost mode, you press a button and you unlock more power. When you do that, it also turns on a 7-speed dual clutch, which is obviously not a real dual clutch, it's simulated, much like a Hyundai Ioniq 6N or 5N. And trust me, I'm living with a long-term Ioniq 5N at the moment. It is so much fun to use that. And it's also got fake engine sounds, which is a funny little gimmick. I always find that quite hilarious. Hopefully not as bad as the Fiat Bath one. That was just awful, awful, awful. But a really, really cool looking hot hatch that you will be able to buy in Japan as a K-car. Great exterior. The interior as well just looks so cool. Lots of space on the inside because it's an electric car, of course. And I've got to say, I'm just kind of happy that Japan is returning to this more fun era of cars. You know, they're starting to realize that one thing that Japan does really well is emotion. You know, the early 2000s, the late 90s was the absolute peak of Japanese JDM motoring. I think everyone will agree with that. All of the JDM heroes like R34 GTR and the Supra, they're all from that era. And I feel like we're kind of going a bit back to that era, even though a lot of these Japanese companies are kind of struggling at the moment. And of course, there's a new Prelude there. Now, this isn't a new car. People have been talking about it for like 6 months, but I'm excited. It is coming to Australia middle of next year. It is based actually on the chassis of a Civic Type R. So you get like the suspension geometry of a Civic Type R. So it should drive really well. The only caveat to that is it comes just with a regular Civic hybrid engine. It'll do 0 to 100 in the low 8 seconds. That's not very inspiring, but we'll have to reserve judgment. It might be a real fun car around some twisties, and maybe it's all the performance that you need. And hey, you'll definitely get great fuel economy, like low 5 liters per 100 kilometers. That's good for a sports car. 147 kilowatt, by the way, 315 newton meters of torque, which that's like warm hatch territory. That's like Mark 5 GTI warm hatch territory, but it will cost about 60 grand. All right, moving on. Let's talk about CarSauce Buy. I've got to give a quick shout out to us, CarSauce Buy. If you want to buy any new car in Australia and you want the best price possible, you need to join thousands of other Aussies by scanning the QR code on your screen now, or just Googling CarSauce Buy. We have a dedicated team of car buyers who go out there to do our best to get you the best price possible. And best of all, it is a completely obligation-free service. You don't have to pay a cent until you have decided you actually want to buy that car. So if that sounds good to you, and it should, just Google CarSauce Buy or scan the QR code on your screen now and let us help you make, you know, big brain buying decisions. Don't get ripped off. We fight the dealers for you. All right. Nissan, Y63 Patrol. Why am I bringing that up, even though it's been announced for like almost 2 years now? Isn't that crazy? Almost 2 years it's been announced. Well, it's because it's launching in Japan, which is pretty big for Japan in 2027. They have been asking for this. Well done. Maybe we'll be the same with the Land Cruiser Mini, you know, or the FJ. Maybe we'll be the same. We'll get it in 2 years' time. And it's funny, I say that, we don't even have it in Australia yet. Even though Australia is a big buyer of Nissan Patrols, we don't have it yet for whatever reason. But it comes with a 3.5 litre twin turbocharged V6 that ditches the old V8 naturally aspirated, which was a very reliable engine, to be fair. And once you start turbocharging stuff, especially twin turbocharging stuff, that can kind of ruin reliability, but it could be a very reliable engine. I have no idea. 317 kilowatt of power, 700 newton meters of torque. This thing is a bit of a beast, so I can't wait to drive it soon. Elgrand. All right, now that is an interesting car because you might have seen literally thousands of these driving around Australia. They are a very, very popular import in Australia. It's a family minivan, right? And it's cheap, it's reliable, comes with a big V6. But now, after 15 years, they're bringing back the Elgrand with the latest generation. It's gonna have level 2 autonomous driving, but up to 50 kilometers an hour. So that is very Japanese and only available in Japan. But hands-free driving is what Nissan are claiming. That's a pretty big feature. It's also going to be powered by Nissan's 3rd generation of the e-Power system. We don't know what outputs are for it, but apparently it's going to be quite swish. This is interesting. Our first model to actually feature the latest e-force technology with a rear electric motor that can torque to reduce pitch and therefore reduce motion sickness in the rear seats. That's actually quite a common complaint of minivans because of the suspension in the back. Sometimes you're sitting on the suspension, you can move around quite a lot. So this apparently helps with that. That's quite interesting. It's also got a nice interior. Like it just looks good. I think that Nissan are actually kind of nailing their recent designs. Very, very good designs. And I think the Elgrand is one of those cars that has a nice exterior, a nice interior, and it's not over the top either. Very, very good. Same with the updated Aria. Now, if you go watch Daddy Jacob's review of the Aria, he gave it a pretty big fail. And in a lot of ways, it kind of deserves that. It rides pretty harsh from what I hear. The interior space is not all that great, but they're updating both of those things. So they've updated the exterior to make it look even better. I thought it looked good, but they're making it look better. Interior is apparently getting some ergonomic improvements. It should ride better as well. That's one of the big key improvements, but nothing on like the batteries and motors and things like that, which is interesting because you got car manufacturers like BYD or anything really from China, Tesla even, that are making some pretty insanely good EVs. So they might need to work on some of that stuff, or they'll just be left behind, which isn't great, is it? Speaking of left behind, Mazda. So there have been years of delay for Mazda in electrifying their products. They had the MX-30 fully electric car. That was a massive fail. Stopped selling pretty quickly, but it was a good test for Mazda. And I'm proud of you, Mazda. I'm proud of you, Mazda, because you've come out with some actually genuinely good concepts. Let's talk about the most exciting one first. That is the Vision X Coupe. Now, to be fair, to me, the exterior looks a little bit whack. The front just looks like a Mazda 3, like literally identical. The rear looks kind of crazy. I don't mind it, but I'm getting almost GWM Aura vibes from the back of that. However, what it comes with under the skin is potent. It's a plug-in hybrid rotary engine, that's turboed by the way, but also it's plug-in hybrid. So it comes with how many electric motors? At least one electric motor and a battery with a claimed 375 kilowatt of power. Should have quite a lot of torque as well. Even though rotary engines aren't actually known for producing that much torque, the reality is that electric motor just adds all that instant torque. So it should fill that gap. But up to 800 kilometers of range, which is also quite impressive, especially considering that this is a performance car. You know, 375 kilowatts is nothing to snub your nose at. So well done, Mazda. Back at it again with the rotary engines. I think that's awesome. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. They also revealed the Vision X Compact, but it's supposed to be pronounced Cross Compact, by the way. Don't get that wrong. But that, I don't know, it's a bit weird looking to me. Apparently, I love this fact, it contains an empathetic AI capable of engaging in natural conversation. I can't imagine that going wrong. You know, I can't imagine that going wrong. But it does look quite funky. I think it could be a good replacement for the Mazda 2 and people would actually buy it. I kind of like it. Daddy Jacob doesn't like it very much. Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But also CX-5, that's also been unveiled. My opinion on that hasn't changed. I'm a bit disappointed. It's another generation of the CX-5, but it still has underpinnings from like 2 generations ago. The engine is the same but bad engine from before. It's just a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, but now it's been detuned to help with emissions with only 132 kilowatt of power and 242 newton meters of torque. No doubt it will be very reliable, no doubt. However, that's not very much power and torque to move a family SUV. The exterior, you know, it's got that cool Mazda design, but again, hasn't really changed very much. The interior is a big change, but they've done some things like move the air conditioning controls, the infotainment display. I don't love that. Anyway, you guys know my opinion. If you want to know my opinion, just search CX-5 CarSauce, or we'll link it down below if I can remember. There's a lot of cars I'm talking about here. Mitsubishi. Okay. I think we've all been a bit worried for Mitsubishi, all right? After the ASX, which is, you know, just a Renault captor, yeah, I think we've all been a bit concerned. However, they've come out with a few cool cars, so let's talk about that. The Delica D5, it's a prototype, but it really is just the next generation of Delica. Now, if you are an off-road or 4x4 fan, you are going to like the Delica. The Delica is a car that's actually based on a Mitsubishi Triton. It is, of course, a minivan, so you get all the practicality benefits of a minivan, but on top of the Mitsubishi Triton platform. It also comes with SAWC, or Super All-Wheel Drive Control. I think that's what it stands for, but it's a permanent four-wheel drive system and a proper four-wheel drive system as well, with a locking rear differential. So it's kind of an update of the last Delica, to be fair. It's got a new grille, new bumper, new wheel arch moldings, but it's been a relatively popular car in Japan. Now, we don't know what's powering it. Currently, it's powered by a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine with 107 kilowatt of power and 380 newton meters of torque. Not very much at all. However, it it could be powered by the Triton's new 2.4 litre bi-turbo engine, considering it is the same platform after all, and that has 150 kilowatt of power and 470 Newton meters of torque, and that is a good engine. I really like that engine, especially with the bi-turbo setup. There's like no lag. Great engine, that one. Delica Mini, awesome. Like, wow, it looks great, has a great exterior, a really good interior as well. It's essentially just a K version of the Delica, which is cool. Imagine having a two-car garage. One of them is the Delica and one of them is the Delica Mini. I'd do that. I think that rock's pretty cool. So it comes with a 660cc engine. Of course, it is a K-car. It has to follow K-car regulations with up to 47 kilowatt of power for the turbo version. If you go for the naturally aspirated Weezer though, which you probably shouldn't, well, that's 38 kilowatts. And trust me, I'm talking from experience. I've owned two K-cars now. 47 kilowatt won't get you very far. it won't. So I can't imagine what 38 kilowatts would get you. But it's priced between 20 to 30,000 Australian dollars, which is so cheap. You know, it's just so cheap for a brand new car. And it comes with the biggest screen in class, a 12.3 inch infotainment display. They were very proud of that, but it just looks cool, right? It's just such a cool looking vehicle. I would like one. Let me know in the comment section if I should import one. And then they also unveiled the Elevance concept, which is really interesting because it looks like the new Pajero. And if you want to go watch my video on that, I'll leave that link down below. But essentially, Mitsubishi have already made the new Pajero. They're in final prototype testing. It should be unveiled quite soon. A lot of people thought it would be done here at the motor show, but it hasn't. Still, this is an electrified concept SUV. It's got a quad motor setup with super all-wheel control, which is just the name that they call anything that's four-wheel drive. It's essentially their copyrighted name or trademark name, but cool, call it that, whatever. So it's actually got in-wheel front electric motors. So the electric motors are within the front wheels, which that could go wrong, I feel. But they've also got dual electric motors at the rear, and that's what will enable it to have very good off-roading capabilities, according to Mitsubishi. It's also got a large battery that can power gear, big ups. And it even has a large screen on the steering wheel, which something tells me that won't make it past crash regulations. But it's a 3-row SUV, a 6-seater, if you will, but it just looks cool, and it also looks quite similar to the Mitsubishi Pajero that we've seen spy tested driving around. So yeah, some really cool cars at the Tokyo Motor Show this year. Let me know what you guys think about the Japan Motor Show this year down in the comment section below. Are they bringing the fight? Is it enough of a fight back to the Chinese car makers? I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section. Of course, like the video, share it if you did enjoy it. It really helps the channel out and it's free. Why wouldn't you? And subscribe, of course, too. We'd love to have you around. And if you want to buy any new car in Australia and you want the best price possible, just Google CarSauce Buy or scan the QR code on your screen now and join thousands of very happy Aussies when you purchase your next new car. All right, Japan. I'm impressed.